Line up the hood of the working car as close as possible to the one with the dead battery, but make sure they're not touching. Next, turn off both cars and put them in park. Also, turn off and unplug anything in either car that runs on the battery, like headlamps, radios, air conditioning, and everything plugged into the power outlets, like MP3 players or cell phones. Okay, this is really important. If either battery is cracked or leaking, do not attach the jumper cables to it. The battery could explode and spray acid all over you. Now, locate the positive and negative terminals to the batteries. Conveniently enough, every battery is labeled, so you shouldn't have too much trouble determining which is which. If you don't see the markings, it's probably because the battery terminals are dirty. Just wipe off any corrosion or battery acid near the terminals with a rag. Now, you're ready to connect the cables. Here's an easy way to remember how to connect them. You're looking for a positive outcome to the situation, so you want the highest number of positive connections possible. As for the cables themselves, the positive cable is usually red, and the negative cable is usually black. But not all jumper cables are color-coded the same way, so read the instructions that came with them before you start. Attach the positive cable to the positive battery terminal in the car with the dead battery first. Then connect the other end of the positive cable to the positive battery terminal in the working car. Next, connect the negative cable to the negative battery terminal of the working car. Then, find a solid metal part of the engine on the dead car to attach the other end of the negative cable to. Make sure it's not a part of the battery and that it isn't painted. It should be a clean, shiny metal, like a nut on the engine block. If it's dirty or oily, clean it off first. When you connect the negative cable, don't worry if there's a little spark. It's normal. Now that the cables are set up, you're ready to start jumping. First, turn on the good car's engine and let it run for a minute or two before you try to start the dead battery. If you want to check that you have the cable set up correctly, turn on the dome light in the dead car. If it comes on, the cables are right. Now you can try turning on the dead car. If the engine sounds like it's trying to crank but won't turn over completely, give it a few more minutes and then rev the engine a bit on the good car. Once the engine in the dead car turns over, you can remove the cables. But be sure to leave the engine running though. It takes a while for the battery to fully recharge. When you remove the cables, be careful not to let the clamps touch each other, or you could be in for quite a shock. Disconnect the cables in the opposite order that you connected them in. Even though your car is running now, you want to keep the engine running for at least 30 minutes so the battery can recharge completely. See? Jump-starting a car is a pretty simple task. Just keep a quality set of jumper cables in your car, and you won't have to wait for AAA anymore.